And we're back for chapter 25. I'm a little bit more to the center of the screen, I think, today. I try to get myself off to the left as much as I can so that there's more space up here for the picture. I don't even know what the picture's going to be yet. I haven't decided. I do that during the editing process. But I typically try to do that. So if it's one that is obscuring the background a little bit, I apologize. But the chapter 25 title is The Death of Abraham. We left off in chapter 24. It's actually been a few days since I've recorded, so I don't remember exactly. Oh, yeah, it was the really long chapter. Is this the camel one? Was it the one with the camels? The guy goes out? Isaac and Rebecca is the name. I'm going to look. It has to be. It's one in the middle. Yeah, because of the nose ring. I forgot about that. If you're watching this out of order, or if it's been a while since you've come back, the last chapter was the camel chapter. Or if you came in from nowhere, I guess it wouldn't make sense. I'm going to edit this part out probably because I kind of lost my way there during that sentence. Unless it's funny. And then anything for humor, anything for you guys, my dear audience who could be of any size, because I still haven't released the channel. Here's what I did. I'll tell you what I did real quick. I planned way out ahead, like months and ahead. Like not super specifically, but I said I'm going to release it in this month. And I've gotten like a little bit ahead of where I thought it would be. I wanted to have 2 months of, let's do the math real quick. If I do Monday through Saturday, which is what I'm planning on doing, that's 6 videos a week, and it's 3 long form, 3 short form. So what that means is chapter 24 was the 2-month mark. I wanted to have 2 months of videos finished, and I got there before the release date. So now I'm on chapter 25. I'm ahead of schedule, thankfully, and I'm going to try to keep up with this as long as I can. But it's making me nervous because I don't know if it's actually going to be, if I'm going to be able to pull it off. So let's start reading about dead Abraham, Abraham's death. Abraham had taken another wife. Oof, that quickly. His wife just died a few chapters ago. How many chapters ago was that? Wasn't it chapter 23? In 2, Abraham tested. Oh, wow, I forgot that was very recent. My hands are too dry to actually turn the pages here. This is the disadvantage of thin Bible pages. The death of Sarah was chapter 23. So all it took was 2 chapters for him to get another wife. Abraham had taken another wife whose name, Whose name was Keturah. I've never heard of this woman or that name. Oh, man. Oh, he's got a lot of kids. This is what God was talking about. He said, I'm going to give you more descendants than the grains of sand on the earth or the stars in the sky. This is how it happens, because he finds another woman and he starts impregnating her. She bore him Zimron, Jokshan, Medon, Midian. Those are very similar. That's got to be confusing growing up. Unless they're, it doesn't matter. Ishbak, Shua. It's S-H-U-A-H, Shua. Jokshan was the father of Sheba and Dedan. The descendants of Dedan were the Asherites, the Letushites, and the Leumites. The son of Midian were Ephah, Epher, Hanok, Abida, and Elda scrolls. All these were descendants of Keturah, or Keturah. I don't know where the emphasis goes on her name because I'm reading it. It just looks it's spelled K-E-T. That's how it starts, Keturah. Keturah, and the only other word I know with that starts with those letters and is that length is ketchup. So I keep thinking I'm looking at the word ketchup. And that sounds really dumb. I'm sure you probably just rolled your eyes as the viewer at home, but trust me, if you look at it or look it up yourself, chapter 25 of Genesis, your brain just kind of goes, that word is ketchup. Abraham left everything he owned to Isaac. Bias. They like their firstborns in the Bible. It kind of continues today. People really love their firstborns. First child, first experience with everything. You never forget it. But while he was still living, he gave gifts to the sons of his concubines. Nice. And sent them away from his son Isaac to the land of the east. So he was like, here's your gifts. Now get out of here. Abraham lived 175 years. I remember in an earlier video, if you've watched all the videos, I said something like, Abraham's 500 years old or something? I forgot that the lifespan started coming down a while ago. So he's only 175. He way outlived Sarah. I think she was 127, if I recall correctly. Then Abraham breathed his last and died at a good old age. Nice. That's who doesn't want to die that way? It's strange that it words it that way. I didn't know the Bible spoke like this. He died at a good old age, an old man and full of years. But that's a very poetic way of putting it. And he was gathered to his people. Who are his people? Does that just mean his family? Does anybody know? His sons, Isaac and Ishmael, buried him in the cave of Machpelah, near Mamre. They always say things are near Mamre. And I might have been pronouncing that the wrong way the entire time. If anyone has any pronunciation tips, let me know. And if you have no tips, leave a like and comment on the video to boost it so that I get more If you want this content, if you want more of this content, you are responsible for boosting it. So, I mean, I am responsible for quality videos and something that entertains people. So that part is on me. But your part, this is a joint effort. This is a team effort on both of our parts. You have to just go in there, take the video out of full screen. If you're lazy, press the F key. Press F and it'll take you out of full screen. But then you have to click on the thumbs up button. And then you have to type for a comment. His sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him in a cave of Machpelah near Mamre in the field of Ephron, son of Zohar the Hittite. The field of Abraham had it's a continuation of the sentence. The field Abraham had bought from the Hittites. That field, the one with the cave, I think where he buried Sarah. If I'm remembering correctly. There Abraham was buried with his wife Sarah. Yeah, I got it. Exactly. There have been so many times on this channel where I read the thing and then I say something and then the thing that I said is just the next verse. The Bible is good about follow-up like that. After Abraham's death, God blessed his son Isaac, who then lived near Beer Lahai Roi. That place was in the last chapter, I know, but I really don't know what it is. I like that it's called beer. That's why I made it the background of an earlier video. I know what that background is, and there's beer in the background, and I think that's funny. Same chapter, new title, Ishmael's sons. We're coming up on a famous story, actually, in this same chapter. It's in this video. Stick around for the end of the video to see what happens. That's what YouTubers say. This is the account of the family line of Abraham's son Ishmael, whom Sarah's slave Hagar, the Egyptian, bore to Abraham. That's right, the one that he sent away into the desert. And I think the angel came and promised her a bunch of descendants as well. These are the names of the sons of Ishmael, listed in the order of their birth. Nebaioth, the firstborn of Ishmael, Kedar, Adbeel, I said Abdil, it's Adbeel, Mibsam, Mishma, did you Mishma? Duma, Massa, Hadad, Tamah, Jetur, Naphish, and Kedema. Were those all children by Abraham? Abraham was so busy after the age of 100. These were the sons of Ishmael, and these are the names of the 12 tribal rulers according to their settlements and camps. 12 is another important number. I mentioned earlier that 40 is an important number. There's a lot of occurrences of the number 40 in the Bible. Jesus goes and fasts for 40 days. Other things happen for 40 days. I can't remember. I know it's an important number. 40 days and nights in the flood. That's with Noah. There's definitely more, but hey, I guess we'll find them. Every time that number comes up, I can guarantee you I'm going to talk about it. It's going to get really tiring if you end up watching this whole series. 12 is the other major number, the 12 disciples of Jesus, the 12 tribes of Israel, 12 loaves of bread when Jesus performs the miracle. No, it's infinite loaves. He's given 12. We'll have to see. Come back in the New Testament. I just discovered almost this whole thing. The vast majority of the Bible is Old Testament. You kind of think old and new, and you're just kind of like, well, most of that is even, right? Or it's about the same. Like the Bible is roughly the same length. No, let me tell you, this is Matt. So look at this. This is the ratio. I don't want to, hang on. You know what? I'll do it. I'll do this. I'll go to the extra effort just for you guys. Here is the ratio. New Testament. Let me turn it. New Testament versus Old Testament. Old, new. Just this part. This is Jesus. This is what we spend so much time in church talking about. This is everything else. Most of the Bible is just the Old Testament. Did you know that? I mean, I knew it was shorter, but not like that. That's dramatic. Look at how thin that is. Looks like a Slim Jim. That's a stupid joke. I'm taking that one out. I don't know. You guys are the ones who find out in the end what decision I made when the video comes out. Jacob and Esau. These are the two guys. If you know, you know. It's a cool story. This is the account of the family line of Abraham's son Isaac. Abraham became the father of Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old. No, again, the weird sentences. That was all one sentence. The weird sentences make it difficult to know what words to say or how to intonate sometimes. Abraham became the father of Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he married Rebekah, daughter of Bethuel, the Aramean, from Padan Aram and sister of Laban, the Aramean. Aramean. I wonder, is that related to the word Aramaic, like the language? Does anybody know? I am going to ask you guys for things when I don't know something instead of remembering to look it up afterwards. I record lots of videos at a time. I do them in batches. So this is actually video number 1 for today. That's why I was kind of a little iffy on where we left off. But the consequence of that is that whenever I have questions while reading this, I don't always remember which ones I had or know what to look up later. Of course, again, I will edit it and I'll see it then. But when you kind of get into the flow of editing, you don't really want to break it. That's creator stuff. It doesn't matter to you guys. All you want is that tasty content. That's all you're looking for. Isaac prayed to the Lord on behalf of his wife because she was childless. The Lord answered his prayer, and his wife Rebekah became pregnant. The babies jostled the babies jostled each other within her. And she said, "Why is this happening to me?" She might not have been that desperate sounding. "Why is this happening to me?" So she went to inquire to the Lord. She went to inquire of the Lord. Like I said before, I'm going to try not to get any word wrong here, so I'm not criticized for it later. The Lord said to her, "2 nations are in your womb." Do you think people back in the day understood analogies like this? He said, 2 nations are in your womb. She's like, It's I don't think people were super well educated back in this time. 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples from within you will be separated. 1 people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger. Oh, that's interesting. That's a spicy prophecy. 1 people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger. When the time came for her to give birth, there were twin boys in her womb. The first one to come out was red, and his whole body was like a hairy garment. How many hairy garments did they wear? So they named him Esau. I guess that means hairy or hairy garment. After this, his brother came out with his hand grasping Esau's heel. So he was named Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when Rebekah gave birth to them. A lot of people name their kids Jacob today. There's not a lot of Esau's around. He doesn't get a lot of people named after him. And he's kind of no spoilers again. We'll come back to it if I remember, like I said before. Jacob, you know what? That's kind of spoiling it too. Okay. All right. Okay. I won't do it for you guys. Okay. So you stop it. The boys grew up and Esau became a skillful hunter, a man of the open country, while Jacob was content to stay at home among the tents. That's me. I would have been Jacob. I would have been content to stay, even though I am hairy. Look at this. This is my YouTube channel. I can do whatever I want. I'm pretty hairy. Isaac, who had a taste for wild game, loved Esau, but Rebekah loved Jacob. So Isaac's like, big hungry man. He wants his meat, but Rebekah's, she's a lover, not a fighter. And Jacob stays at home in the tent, so she likes him. Once when Jacob was cooking some stew, he cooks, Esau came in from the open country, famished. He said to Jacob, "Quick, let me have some of that red stew. I'm famished." This is why he was also called Edom. Why was he called that? Jacob replied, "First, sell me your birthright." Now, if you haven't heard this story before, what he's talking about is birthright as in like the firstborn son, like the rights of birth is literally what that means. So he, in exchange for some stew, because Esau is famished, he says, "Give me all of the benefits of being the firstborn son." It's a pretty big trade. At least definitely back in the day it was. Like now, most parents, at least from, I don't know, I guess you can't say that. I was going to say most parents aren't biased to where they like treat their children equally, but that's definitely not the case. Unless you just got really good parents, they certainly play favorites. They just won't ever say it out loud. That's why I'm not going to become a parent. Jacob replied, "First, sell me your birthright." "Look, I am about to die," Esau said. That's what Esau says. He literally goes, "Look." That's how this translation puts it. Look, Jacob, I am about to die. What good is the birthright to me? That's what, and you know what? Now that I think about it, I would have, if I just saw that wording, I would think like, he says, "What good is the birthright to me?" It sounds like a broad statement, like he's just saying in general, what good is a birthright to me? But I think in the context of this, he's saying like, if I'm going to die, how's a birthright going to help me if I'm literally about to die? He must be in bad shape, like real bad shape. He must be like Game of Thrones, like he got stabbed by a boar, and the only thing that will heal him is nutrition somehow. I don't know, but he must be incredibly malnourished, or he's just dramatic. He could be maybe just an emotional guy, and he embellishes and exaggerates his stories. But Jacob said, "Swear to me first." This is so malicious. This is so sneaky and underhanded. Jacob said, "Swear to me first." So he swore an oath to him, selling his birthright to Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau some bread and some lentil stew. Oh, wow. Lentil stew? I mean, it can be good if you've got the spices. I don't think the Indian spice trade had really reached the Middle East yet. I don't know. Middle Eastern food's awesome. It's really, really good. I just went to a restaurant. They had hummus and cream cheese mixture. They were actually just next to each other. They weren't mixed, but you could like scoop a little bit of one and then get some of the other on a little cracker, a little piece of pita bread. That stuff is, my mouth is salivating. That stuff is so good. And I will definitely go back, except I won't tell that story. If you guys want to know the story, let me know and I'll put it into, no, because you won't see this for such a long time. Oh, well. Then Jacob gave Esau some bread and some lentil stew. He ate and drank and then got up and left. So Esau despised his birthright. Wow. So that's kind of a sad story. He's bitter about what happened. And so now he despises his birthright because he gave it away. He really liked it until he didn't have it. And now he hates it because he gave it away. That's it for chapter 25. That's the whole thing. The Jacob and Esau story is a very popular... Wow, the next one is Abimelech again. King Abimelech. You guys remember him? Did you watch the channel up until this point? Has it only gotten popular in the later chapters and no one really saw the first episodes? Isaac and Abimelech is chapter 26, so we're going to come back around to that. That finishes us up for chapter 25.